you've seen the last video on the ONYX, how it died on me. And right now I'm trying to charge the battery. I'm trying to balance it out. So it's been sitting here all night on the charger. Basically, the original owner had the bike sitting at his place for a while, just charged sitting there. So hopefully the battery's okay, and if it's not, we could take our other ONYX that we have. Now that we have two, I could take this battery out of this one, see if, when I put it in here, see how it works. And if the bike does run fine, it doesn't turn off like it did in the last video, then I'll know it's a battery issue. If it still does that and we can't fix this battery, I'd have to go out and buy another battery. But the good thing is I got a guy locally that I ride with that has a 41 amp hour battery that replaced it because he had the 23 amp hour. So I could buy the old one off of him for pretty cheap instead of buying a brand new one. I think they're like $7.99. But anyways, so this is gonna be the very first day. We're gonna start working on it. For one, we had to change out the seat. I think it's missing screws. I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping it's not. I'll see if I have some nuts that I can put on there. But I think something popped out of the seat that got ripped. So we got to get that going. I have a new button display for the handlebars, a new throttle, so we could fix that so we don't have to use the key fob every time to turn the bike on. All right, so if you look at this bike very carefully, you're gonna see it's a lot shorter than our original ONYX. And the reason why is because this one's a Shorty. So I believe the suspension in the back is 300 to 310 millimeter, I believe. And then obviously it has the cut forks. You can see how much shorter they are right here compared to how long these bad boys are. And I'll say that I actually like how this feels compared to the taller ONYX because it feels like the weight is more lower on the bike, but it also feels weird because it feels a lot smaller on the road. There's a lot of tape under here. I don't know exactly what he did, but tons of tape. Looks like he has two different blinkers on here. Not 100% sure what he did over here, but got two here and I believe two over here. I don't even know if those work yet, but the main thing I'm gonna do right now is I wanna get this battery back in the bike, and I would like to go take it up and down the street before I go too far. And I wanna see if it's actually gonna work before I get too much into it, because once I start taking the side panels off this bike and everything like that, there's really no going back. So let's get that done real quick and I'll come back. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. I went for a ride, I'm back, and it died on me 3 different times. And the only way I was ever able to get the bike to keep moving was to barely hit the regen. Even though the brake cable is not connected, the regen is still working off of a little sensor or something like that in there. So as soon as you touch this brake lever, it actually puts a little tiny bit more voltage into the bike and then it will keep going. But sports mode, you can't even ride the bike in sports mode. So the guy must have known that the battery was already bad and he just wanted to get rid of it because he probably saw the price of the battery and was like, forget that. And he was moving anyway, so I understand why I got it for the price I got it for. So the battery is probably bad. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna charge it the next couple days and just see if I can fix it. Another thing I'm gonna do is take the battery out of this one just to verify that it is a battery issue, because if it's an electrical issue, we'll find out right away by switching batteries. Before I do go out and take this battery off, you're gonna see a lot of differences. So we got the Envision straps on this ONYX, which come in very handy. This one's actually a little loose, but having these, this battery does not move around whatsoever. The whole bike moves instead. Also, the new bike is missing these little rubber tabs right here. So when we come over to this one, you'll see how janky these straps are. The whole battery moves. That's why you get a lot of clunking around. And then he also doesn't have these little rubber stoppers, which stops a lot of the rattles, and it holds the battery cover, which is over there. It holds it in place a lot better. So we're gonna get these same straps for this bike so it doesn't make any noise. Then we're gonna do some vinyl tape like on the inside of here. All right, I'm back, and it's 1000% the battery. The battery's pretty much messed up. So I'm still gonna see if I can save it by charging it over and over and over to try to balance those cells, because it charges after the bike gets to 100%. That's how the 23 amp hour battery works. So basically, you have it on the on position, charge it to full, the light turns green, you turn the battery off for 30 seconds, then you pop it back on and charge it. And you do that about 3 times, I think for 72 hours, that's what John Angel's post says. See if we can save it. If we can't, we'll buy another one, but it's 1000% the battery. The voltage sag that I had on this, and they were both charged at 84 volts, I think I got it down to 72 or 73 volts, and I just kept hitting it. Even at 50 miles an hour, I'd pull it and I'd see if it would cut off, and it never did. So the good thing is there's no there's no electrical issue on this bike. I felt bad too because I told you earlier in the video I wanted to give you a walk around, so I'm gonna do it right now and show you some stuff that's on this bike. So it's on street tires. It's obviously the Shorty version that we already said. He did put some pegs on here. I mean, they're cool. I actually don't mind them. I think I might keep those. They're a little janky. They're a little kind of whatever, but gotta fix a chain. These are bent. I'm gonna take these pedals off. I'm not a big fan. EcoBoost shocks, pretty decently comfortable. Obviously, we have the 2 lights that I told you in the back. It's kind of weird. And here's where we get to the bad part of the bike. So there's no brakes. If you notice, there's no rear brakes whatsoever. What happened is he said he hit something and these came loose and the wheel completely like shifted and the brakes were rubbing up against the motor. That's why you have this big old line on here. And I don't know exactly why he took the brakes off. So I'm assuming there's probably a different issue on the bike. And I could tell that this might have got damaged too because it looks like it was rewired or something like that because there's some tape on this electrical plug right here. And I already noticed that this isn't supposed to be above the cranks. This is actually supposed to be underneath the bike. So this is supposed to be zip tied underneath. If you look at mine, see how mine is underneath the bike. So that's something I gotta look into. When I come over here, it looks like we got the V1 brake levers. That's what kind of confused me because I was like, wait a minute, the V2, or I'm sorry, the 1.5s, they're black. So if you notice mine are black on both sides. And since these are silver, it kind of threw me off. But anyways, it needs a fender on the front. I might do the same exact one that I have. I think it's the David Shaw fender is what they call it. It's kind of cool. He put a little magnet piece on here for this. So I might even just leave that. It works so you don't lose that little piece on there. So that's pretty much the bike, guys. Everything else is fine with it other than the biggest issue I have with it is these. The fact that he wired the turn signals that were here, which go to this little bracket right down here. He wired them to these and I don't like that. These mirrors suck. I think what I'm gonna do is start taking these panels apart and I wanna get the wiring to this and replace this because I got one in the garage and I also have the seat. I have an ONYX seat sitting right here that we could throw on so we won't have this issue of it coming up because that is, it's not a big deal, but I mean, might as well replace it, you know? So this is exactly why we're gonna replace the seat. If you can see that the seat that came on this ONYX, both of these are broken out. And it had an extra nut and I was wondering why that was, and I came to the bike and I saw that he had an extra screw just holding that down, which I don't even think it was doing much. But anyways, you can see the brand new seat that I have has all of these in here and that's gonna really fix the seat from flapping up and down. The next thing I noticed on the bike was that this doesn't work as static brake light anymore. It only works when you hit the brakes. He wired these up, so I think what he did is I think he bypassed this one to run these 2 off to the side, which they're bright, don't get me wrong, they work. I mean, I'd rather have the original one working. All right, so you'll see what's going on. So now if I hit the right brake light, nothing happens. Like this is not turning on. These don't get brighter, nothing happens. If I hit the regen brake, then the main brake comes on. And these seem like they get brighter also. The turn signals still work like normal. That's good. Didn't want to have to wire that. I did notice that he wired the turn signals also into the sides. If you notice, these are blinking with the turn signal. So that is cool because these are bright. These are way brighter than the ones that the ONYX comes with. But I want this brake light to stay on because the lights are already on. So now the headlight's on, just so you don't question my work over here. So the headlights are on and the brake light's still not working. It only works with the regen brake. He took the wires from this and now these are the brake lights, the static brake lights. So when I turn the headlight off, these just stay on 24/7. And when you get in here, you can see all the wiring that the guy did. I'm like, I'm not good at wiring. I do want to open it up and see exactly how this was put on because since I didn't do the work, it's going to be harder for me to understand exactly how everything goes back. So I'd rather just have it back to normal. But anyways, now I'm going to take my battery out, turn it off, and take these side panels off because I need to get to all the wiring down there because now I want to replace this so this button works. All right, after I got the side panel off, you can see why the guy had tape on the side panel, and that's because this little piece broke off. And honestly, these things are cheap. Even my ONYX, I've broken one, I believe. I broke this one on my ONYX. So I think this is gonna be an easy fix. Once I put the panel back on and I don't put the battery back on, I'll have room. Probably JB weld it with it in place, and then we should be able to tighten this screw all the way down because it's a little loose. but nothing's able to hold it, so the screw is not being able to turn this. So I can't get it out or anything unless I get some vice grips and hold it. But I think I'm just gonna leave it, JB weld it, and call it a day after we get the panel back on. But we had to do this so we can replace this still. I gotta get this part. I gotta find it in my garage. It's somewhere over there. All right, slowly but surely we're getting there. I had to loosen these mirrors up, making sure they don't hit the display. I had to take this off because basically once you get the old button layout out, you have to move it so far over, and then you have to get a rubber mallet and you have to hammer, basically hammer this off that's on this side. We're gonna replace it with the brand new looking one. This came off of my bike in, I don't know, 100 miles, 150 miles. So we're gonna put this on, basically slides in, and then we're just gonna have to run all the wires again and then get the new grip on, which I'm gonna use my brand new one that's in the box down there, and get back to it in a little bit. All right, so I have got this on and everything seems good on it. I tested it out, made sure it worked. I don't know why there was an extra wire that was connected to the old harness, but I did not connect it to this new one. But I ran into another issue, and when I was taking this headlight off so I can get to more of this wire, because I really want to get rid of these big ass mirrors, I wanted some extra room, and as soon as I took off the headlight, this piece inside the headlight broke. So I had to take the whole headlight apart, and what I'm gonna have to do now is JB weld or super glue this onto the inside of this bracket, just like this one is sitting. Then you can put a screw through the normal location on this side right here. So extra step I gotta do, but gonna continue. All right, so I fixed this little thing on this headlight, which is a pain in the ass. This was also a pain in the ass. Look at all this little ass tape that I have. The guy like wrapped it in one section, then another section, then another section, another section, instead of just going around the whole thing. So anyway, this harness that's going into the bike right here, this is what's gonna go to the original turn signals, or I'll probably modify some turn signals and fit something on this bike. But we're definitely now getting these mirrors off now that these wires are all completely gone. So I got all this side done. The headlight is back in. I did a little zip tie right here. I don't have any black zip ties right now. I hate that I zip tied this headlight because this headlight needs the freedom to kind of move back and forth. And then we can zip tie some stuff over here. Still don't have the turn signals yet. I'm gonna have to order some. And I wanna use this same bracket, so I'm thinking about getting some little tiny ones, or I can get some that maybe mount onto the forks right here. But anyways, after I got that done, I wanna replace this grip. This is the one that came off my ONYX, and it's already cut for a rear view mirror. So I'm gonna pop that in because this other one was a little bit dull and everything like that. So we'll just slide this back in. I'll get a mirror on this side and then we should be good. All right, so it looks like I did a lot, but honestly, all I did is put the seat that I already had onto the bike, and then I put the battery back in, and we got all this side buttoned up. I kind of lined it up a little bit. I realized that this cable is really pulling on everything. So I think this needs to be rerouted. It needs to go underneath. I'll do that because it goes to this plug right here, and this plug is already stretched, and it shouldn't even be up here. It should be down below. So I'm gonna have to go through that and probably go through the wiring a little bit. Still got to go through the wiring in the back underneath the seat to figure out how all these little things were working, because I really want to get this working. I don't know why it's not. And right now I'm just gonna go take it down the street. And if you notice, now that we replaced this button, now it actually pops on. Now this is a battery that is bad, so I'm just gonna leave it in normal mode and just go up and down the street. Just wanna make sure the throttle works, there's no issues. I wanna make sure the horn works, because this is the problem. So this was connected to a purple wire down in here, and I could probably find it. So this purple wire right here, it was bridged off of this, and it went into the stock harness for the throttle over here. But anyways, I don't know why that was connected. So now this wire is just kind of chilling. It didn't seem like it went to anything. It didn't seem like it was changing anything. But I want to go down the street and test it out and see what happens. All right, guys, so that's gonna wrap it up for day number 1. Continue watching the videos. I'm gonna make a playlist, kind of like I did the Super 73, 72 volt, and we're basically gonna make a series of just putting this bike together and getting it up in optimal running condition, possibly new battery. I talked to one of my buddies. He's looking at buying a Chai battery, and if he does, then I might take his 41 amp hour and put it into this ONYX, and then I could take that battery and put it into this one, and that might be a solution. Or I might buy his 23 amp hour battery and put it in that one, because he's gonna give me a good price on it, and then I could just call it done, because I'm not really planning on using my ONYX very much anyway. I'm trying to sell it. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Love all you guys.